What is up, guys? Stu here. Next up from this year's London Film Festival is The Personal History of David Copperfield, which for some reason I'm struggling to get for every time I say it. It's not a tongue twister, but it is. But it isn't. But it totally is. Which is the latest film from Armando Iannucci, who you may know as the director and writer of Death of Stalin most recently, but also he's a dude behind The Thick of It, In the Loop, Veep, Alan Partridge. Dude's a comedic genius. He's great with all of his satire. This one sees him switching things up, taking a slight left turn, and that it's an adaptation of a Dickens novel. Who saw that coming? And I gotta say, it's pretty ruddy delightful. I gotta be honest straight out the bat and say this isn't my favourite of his works. It's much less satirical and cynical than a lot of his other work, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in itself, but I do think it certainly loses something along the way. But that's only in comparing it to his other works. I think on its own, it's definitely a solid little flick. Now, I'm not even going to attempt to pretend to know anything about the original novel this is based on. I haven't read David Copperfield by Dickens, so we can just let that one slide immediately. So I'm coming at this less of a kind of, oh, how did he adapt a Dickens novel, and more as a period fun. Oh, that sounds like something entirely different. But there's a lot of fun stuff to be had here, namely the cast, which is filled up with sort of like a who's who of amazing British comedic talent, and also non-comedic, just general British awesomeness. Dev Patel leads this one, and I think he's a solid actor. I've loved him in pretty much everything he's done. His character feels a lot like it's never really on solid ground, and he's always moving and he's always doing something, and he brings that side of the character out really, really well. But it helps when he's being thrown through a cast as good as this. I mean, let's just get it straight out the bat. Tilda Swinton, yes, please. I've said it before on the channel, and I'll say it again. I will watch anything Tilda Swinton does because she's a goddess. This film includes Tilda Swinton kicking a woman off a donkey, so if that ain't great, I don't know what is. I feel like that should definitely just be the new bar all films need to meet, right? Your film didn't have Tilda kicking a woman off a donkey? Get the fuck out of here. Come back when you got some good shit to show me. Christ. Aside from the donkey thing though, she does actually give a great performance. And also alongside her giving a suitably batshit in the best way possible performance is Hugh Laurie, who I had no idea was in the film, and he popped up and I was like, oh, that is a delightful little surprise that. He is fantastic and steals pretty much every scene he's in, as does Tilda, as does the both of them. Any scene where the both of them are in it together is just a joy to watch. It's totally delightful. Honestly, it might sound naive, but I had no idea Dickens could be this funny and this comedic. But that's also certainly down to the fact that it's been adapted by someone like Armando Iannucci, who's really quick, sort of dry sense of humour is still present here. There's a lot of things you come to expect from one of his scripts in a slightly different way. As I said, it's less satirical and cynical and a little bit more warm-hearted and optimistic. I will say that there are more swings and misses in terms of comedy here than a lot of his previous work, but there's also just as much fun stuff to make it work on a whole. And actually, in tackling a period piece like this, he's able to bring something new to the table to make it feel like a kind of fresh, modern take on a period story, which I thought was one of the best things about it. There are always sort of glimpses of this weird hybrid between modern and old, and there's some really, really fantastical elements to it, certainly in transitions and the way it moves between sequences can get really exciting, really creative. That being said though, I do think there are many elements of the direction which feel like they don't quite go as hard as they should do. One of those being the sort of more fantastical, surreal elements. Every time they pop up, I'm like, yeah, this is cool, I'm enjoying this is inventive, this is creative, and then it sort of gets lost and forgotten about for about half an hour, 40 minutes, and then it pops back up again. It's in it enough for it to work, but not enough for it to really hammer it home. And that's probably how I feel about most of this film if I were to start critiquing it. It never really does anything enough to really hammer anything home. And that's strange coming from someone like Iannucci, who's known for doing really kind of rich political satire with a big point and message to it. It's not that this doesn't have a message, in fact it absolutely does, it's just that it can sort of get a little bit lost in things, and at times it's sort of like, what are we doing here other than just being silly and fun in a period outfit? But to clarify, I don't think that's wholly terrible in itself. It's just that, I don't know, you come to expect certain things when you go into Armando Iannucci film, you know? So trying to do quite a few things, it doesn't always land. For me, the beginning was quite tough to get through. Everything for the first like half hour, before we get to Dev Patel and we're focusing mainly on the child actor playing him, yeah, it's a big no-no from me there. I'm not sure what it is, but on the whole, it just didn't seem to click with me until Dev got into the picture. I think, and I'm going to have to say it, it probably comes down to the child performance. You know I don't like doing it, but I'm going to have to shit on a kid now. Bet you didn't think you were going to be watching that content on a Friday night, huh? Christ. I don't know what it is specifically, it's just... You could have got a better kid. But overall, I think this was a really enjoyable film. Definitely very heartwarming, much more optimistic than his previous work, and 100% saved by fantastic performances from the lot. Not my favourite of Armando's work, not my favourite of the year, just a solid, enjoyable film I think everyone's going to get a lot of enjoyment out of, especially if you're British, I reckon. I mean, obviously, anyone can enjoy this for whatever reason, but there's something about watching all of these British actors on screen in a very British film, and it just makes you go, oh, yeah. Yeah, we got a fun one, haven't we? I mean, not all the time. Just look at fucking Brexit and whatever the fuck's going on with the Tories. But it can be fun over here, right? But what about you guys? Have you seen it? If you saw it at the festival or you saw a bit of it on a trailer, anything, literally anything, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. We'll have a little discussion down there. As usual, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see me talk about more shit, please consider clicking subscribe. There'll be a new review every day from the festival for what I'm seeing, which is a whole bunch, so don't miss any of that. Make sure you're subscribed. See you guys tomorrow. I'll be talking about, you guessed it, more films from the festival. I'm tired already. Until next time, stay beautiful, mother truckers.